Challengers, welcome back. It's good to see that you didn't run off, and it seems like you want some more. And if that sounds like the truth to you, well, you've come to the right place. It is officially day 2 of Joseph McClendon III and the Neurocoding Institute's My Moment Challenge. Welcome back. It's great to be back with you here representing Team JM3 and the Neurocoding Institute. And if you can see my screen, I want you to do something for me right now. I want you to go back and get re-familiarized with that chat in your Zoom. And Mr. McClendon, he's watching that chat now. I want you to go ahead and send him a message. So here's your instructions. You can send him anything you want in that chat. And if you need some inspiration, start here. What was impactful about day number 1? Or what surprised you about what you learned from Joseph, or maybe learned about yourself? And lastly, if you need it, what are you excited to put into play for your life to go further, faster here today? Listen, if you know anybody that's supposed to be here, that's not here yet, today is not the day to miss. Send them a message, send them a telegram, get them on WhatsApp, message them on Facebook, slide in their DMs, send a carrier pigeon, get on a red eye and grab them and bring them in here, because this is the place to be. If you're with me, get in that chat and just write, "I'm with you." Lily G says, "Love you, JM3. Surprised that I'm a procrastinator. Now I know what monster I need to target." Lily, that's so important, and you are far from alone. Pippa says, "Thank you for your time. What I write is what I invite." Elemental, fundamental. Great job, great work. Francis says, "Change what you're looking at." So simple, so important. Dr. Michelle, I'm with you too. Thank you for that. I see Andrew coming from Bermuda. Welcome here, Andrew. Good to have you. Max says the people in your life will rise to your state, not your strategy. Very insightful, Mac. I love that. Kylie says she's learning she's the doubter. Acknowledgement is key. Well done, Kylie. Again, you are not alone here. I see Yayoi is excited for day 2. I'm excited for you, my friend. We're about to get started here in just 30 seconds. If you're not at your seat or at your virtual participation station, get there now. Get ready, get excited, get focused and energized, because we are about to kick off in 15 seconds, day 2 of the My Moment Challenge.
Welcome to the My Moment Challenge with Joseph McClendon III and Team Neuroencoding. We're so excited to be here with you today. Now, why are we excited? Because yesterday we laid down some foundations. Today we are going to go even more in depth. Remember, on your journey through transformation over the course of 3 full days of challenge. Hello, my name is Kay. If this is your first day here, if it's not, then hello family. It's nice to see you again. Yes, my sister will join us. My better half will be here, but don't worry. What we're about to get into today is to help you to uncover some things that you may already be familiar with, but that you haven't recognized as pivotal pieces of information to take you from whatever moment that is falling into your life and have you say, this is my moment, because that's what it's all about. Now, this challenge is for you. This challenge is for you to create something new, something better, something broader for your big, beautiful life. But this challenge is also serving people, because with every sign up that we have, every registration for this challenge, every person who gets into our VIP is feeding the hungry. That's right. We're donating meals to Feeding America, and we have over 20,000 meals. In fact, 20,480 now raised and donated just through this challenge. That's the impact you all are having. You're in a moment where you're saying, this is my moment, and I'm still going to serve others. Because put a 1 in the chat if helping another person is something that makes you feel good. Put a 1 in the chat. If that's something that just makes you feel good, you help somebody else, wow, that makes me feel good. Okay, I see tons of you blowing up in the chat. Okay, now put a 1 in the chat if you want to help people professionally. You want to help people professionally. I want to be so good at helping other people that I can do that professionally. Now, I love seeing these ones in the chat. Yes. Then this is the time for you to dig in to some content, to some creation alongside experts to help you move into your moment and create that next step in your future. I'm so excited to be bringing into you our guest speaker today. We have the one and only Jonathan Steeman going to be joining us. Now, he has turned his own journey into a mission to help others unlock their own potential. After being diagnosed with ADHD as a child, Jonathan Steeman became fascinated by what truly drives human performance and then spent years studying behavior, trauma, personal development, and the mind-body connection. Today, he is a trauma-informed performance specialist, a 3-star elite neuroencoding specialist, personally endorsed and trained by Joseph McClendon III. He's a trusted coach who helps high achievers move beyond overwhelm, self-doubt, and limiting labels. And he also serves as a senior leader at the Tony Robbins events and on the Coaching Method Leadership Committee at the Neuroencoding Institute. Through Jonathan's mission, Unlabel Yourself, Jonathan empowers people to separate their identity from the labels they've been given, to discover what helps them thrive and create lasting transformation. Please join me in welcoming Jonathan Steeman.
I see the chat, I see the love, there you go, that's it. I'm Jonathan Steeman. I'm a neuroencoding elite specialist specializing in high performance and coaching for high achievers that suffer from stress, overwhelm, and also with ADHD-like symptoms. Now, show some hands. How many of you have a dream, right? How many of you have a dream? There we go. And I see you on the screens. Yeah, put on a 1 or that's it. All right, so let's get real for a moment. Just come in a little bit closer now. Let's get real for a moment. Do you want to have change? This is your moment. And we have to get real for that. What have you done? You said you want to dream. What have you done, right? You are here. That's great. That's a good step. But what have you done in the past? You said you had a dream, but you didn't follow through. You sat on your couch, you kind of groaned like a couch potato, didn't you? Right? And to be honest, a lot of people do that, right? Including me. I also sometimes have that thing, right? So it's a common theme. It's a common thing. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that came across my path in my exploration of building an ADHD-like lifestyle that really makes the difference. So I could live without any medication. Medication is fine and all that stuff, right? But I found a different route, and I'm an example of that. And throughout that journey, I've came across some knowledge and some experiences, and one of them I would like to share with you today. And because even though I'm successful now today, I mean, if we talk about money, $250,000 a year, that's a great achievement. Never had that, never thought that was possible. But there has been a time and a moment where it all started. And I want to take you along with me along that journey. So let me take you back in 2016. It was November. It was freezing cold. It was dire. It was dark outside. And I felt miserable. I was in a really bad place. I was lying next to my wife, but I wasn't happy. We didn't talk. We did nothing. I had work, but it was, tearing me apart. It was withdrawing all my energy. And at that moment, I was fed up of it. I really remember that moment. I was fed up. I didn't want to have this continue anymore. So I seized the moment, and I stood up, and while I heard my children getting ready for school, taking the bike, I just took stuff out of my closet. I put on some old running shoes, and even though it was middle of the winter, I just started running. I said to my kids, look, I'm going to run with you, and you just go on your bike. So I started running for 1/3 of a mile, and I walked back because I was exhausted. My health was in a bad place and all of that. At that moment, I had no illusions that I would ever run a half marathon, whatnot. But that's what happened. But it didn't just happen straight away. I just continued to go back to that moment. Continued to go. Every day, I stepped up, I took myself out of my bed, and I started running. And a couple of months later, a couple of years later, I started to get results. I started to see, whoa, I got like 2,000 miles I ran in these couple of years. Crazy. So it started to compound even as well. But at a certain moment, while I was doing that running, my business started to do better. And for a while, I thought my relationship was going to get better as well. Until I realized that this marriage would not be something I could sustain. I may have to make a really difficult choice. So I divorced, and I went through the phases, and I continued running until I lost my momentum. I was stuck. I couldn't get myself to do things. It was my mind blocking me on doing what's necessary to get the results that I needed. And because my ADHD symptoms got more severe when I stopped running, things started to get more dire as well. So eventually I reached out to a mentor, and it was actually Shyla from the Neuroencoding Institute. And I asked her, maybe people know her, but she's from Run Day, Fun Day, Monday, and all that stuff. Really energized, and she really likes to run. I have to ask her about this. So I went to her, and I asked her, what do I need to do in order to really make that change, right? And maybe you can relate that you are in that space, right? That you have that question, that you needed a mentor. You've experienced a mentor for yourself, right? So that was my mentor at the time. And she just said this, Jonathan, just book a game, book a race, and just have something in the future. So I did. But then I reminded myself that the first time I did a race, it was only 7 miles, but it was a challenge for me then. And it wasn't appealing for me in the recent years. So I knew I had to step up my goal and went for a half marathon. I never run that distance, and I just took okay, I have to make a change, and this is something that I have to live up to. So I booked something in my agenda. I looked in the agenda, working with like a training program with these apps. I needed 3 months. I looked in the agenda. There it is, Egmond Half Marathon in the Netherlands. So I trained for it every day. I showed up and went to it. And at the race day, I started out on the beach. I found out 1/3 of the game, 1/3 of that race is on the beach. Then we had to go through the dunes and all that stuff around. I wasn't aware about that because I was just focusing on getting the race done. I was ready to really seize that moment because I was looking at the end of the race where I could celebrate my victory. Now, a couple of weeks later, I had a conversation with a friend because I wasn't really happy with my time because it was like I took 2 hours and 22 minutes and like, oh, I could do better. But I was proud, but it was something sawing at me. Until this friend said to me, Jonathan, do you realize that the Egmond Half Marathon in the Netherlands is one of the toughest, is not the toughest half marathon in the Netherlands? And then I realized something. It's not about the time, it is about the challenge. It's about the elements. This game is not for optimal circumstances. And I went back to that game every year. So now I got 3 of those half marathons running, right? I got 3 of those. Everybody also feels like really proud that they've done something and they continue to go and then look back and feel good about that, right? It's all from seizing the moment. From moment to momentum, and from momentum to compounding results. And that's what I want for you. Who wants compounding results? Raise your hands. Let me see some hands here and put some ones in the chat. There we go. Here we go. All right. So, are you ready to really do it? Because I want to make sure. Are you ready to invest and play full out? Yes. All right. Okay. So just because I see Donna, I do see you driving. Maybe other people aren't driving. I would suggest for that, don't go into for your safety, don't go into this process. We're going to do a little bit of cross-sized process, but you can watch the recording after, okay? All right, good stuff. Okay, I want to make sure that everybody's safe. Okay, so for everybody now sitting on their tushies, why do you say that? Stand up. I invite you to stand up. And make sure you have a little bit of room around you, a little bit of room, and you have the ability to step a little bit, take one good, nice step up front without hurting yourself, right? All right, perfect. All right. Okay, so I'd like you to think about your goal, why you're here, your intention, right? Think about why you're here, what you're trying to achieve. And just for a moment, think about what the challenge is that keeps you from doing it. All right, you got it? Now shake it off a little bit. All right, so now knowing what is holding you back, maybe one of the toxic 10, think about some resourceful things, right? And you can close your eyes if you want. Think about some resourceful states that could help you. It could be something like confidence, empowerment, compassion, tenacity, like energy, something that really things that will help you thrive through this, right? All right, so when you got it, now I want you to go to a moment in your life, right? Just take a deep breath through the nose and out to the mouth. There we go again. Into the mouth, there you go, and out to the mouth. Now go to a moment in your life where you have experienced this state. And then feel what you felt right there and then. As if it's right now. See what you saw through your own eyes. Hear what you heard. And then feel what you felt. And within your body, where you feel it, within your body, make it expand. Give it room. Give that good feeling some room, everybody. Expand it to every cell in your body. Let it go 10,000 times. That is radiating outside of your body. You feel it going on. Now, in front of you, there's a circle. And you don't see it. It's imaginary circle. There's a circle. You look down. You see that circle. Wow, radiating with that energy. And I want you to step into that circle right now. Step into it. There we go. And then feel that energy discharge in that circle. You look down, you see the lining of that circle. You see it firing up with a certain color, right? Now step out again. And now think about another resource that could really benefit you in going into that process, facing that challenge and getting the results that you want. Could be anything. A resourceful and like enthusiasm, passion, excitement. Okay, now I want you to go to a moment in your life where you felt exactly that state. You see it through your own eyes. You feel what you felt right there and then, and you heard what you heard. Now do the same thing. Feel where in your body do you feel that energy. Give it room, let it expand, right? Let it radiate out through every cell in your body, and then amplify it 20,000 times. Let it go into the atmosphere or whatever, make it so big, and now step into that circle again and let that energy add to that circle, to the other. See that energy going into that circle. See the lining of that circle. See the color changing, the intensity changing. Maybe you hear some sounds. Maybe some energy. You feel something with it. And now step out of it again. All right. Now we're going to pack this all together. There's something, you look down into the circle and you feel there's something familiar happening. You hear some music on the backdrop. You feel there's something interesting happening. And while that is happening, you start to see from that circle, you see a globe or an orb coming out. Slowly but surely, in the same color of the circle. That's it. And slowly you see that rise. All the way up. And you feel like, this is so familiar. I recognize this somewhere. And it feels good. And you want it to go to you, but it still goes up. All the way up until it is just chest level. There you go. Now the circle starts to go towards you a little bit to hand reach. Now let's do a little bit of an experiment. Within reach, reach out with your hands, hold that ball, and just gently squeeze it, gently, and feel maybe there's some subtle energy or what's not going on. And you feel that this is familiar, this is belonging to myself. It's so relatable. And you think like, wow, how would it feel if this would be integrated in myself? Now you take that ball, you make it smaller to the sides of your heart, and you bring it slowly to your chest. And you press it into your chest, through your heart. And then feel the energy rising. Feel that heart. Put your hands on your heart and feel that every beat of your heart starts to amplify. And it starts to energize, and you feel it running through your veins, and it's spreading through the body. Every single beat. You feel it expanding to every cell in your body. That's it. And you feel it. You remember something. All of a sudden, you remember something. This belongs to me. And everything we just did with the circle, the color, it was all part of me. And this is what I remember. This is how I should feel like. Now, from this state, open your eyes when you're ready. From this state, we're gonna do something. And you know what it is. It could be you text someone. You send a message, you send an email, you schedule a recurring event in your agenda, you schedule a reminder. You know what it is. Anything that will drive you forward to get what you want. And you have 1 minute to do this activity because this is how we do it. Now I want you to shout out one thing. Whose moment is it? Say out loud, my moment. Yes, that's it. Whose moment is it? Yes, that's it. There you go. And now with this energy, take that action. Yes. This is your moment. Take it before it goes away. Seize the moment. From moment to moment to compounding results. This is your moment. Do it. And when you're done, put a 1 in the chat because we want to see it. Put a 1 in the chat. There you go. It could be a meeting someone with a business partner, potential client, someone who you want to practice out with. You want to grow your business, or you want to have a conversation with. Maybe you want to have a conversation with someone who's already done what you've done. Maybe you want to schedule something or promise yourself to do something special just after this event. That's it. And now say it out loud. This is my moment. Yes, this is my moment. There you go. Yes, you got it. Woo! Yes. Let's go. Yes. All right. Now let's come back. Let's come back for a moment. Because this feels good, doesn't it? Right? Now, if we just keep it as this, we will just have a great time. But I want more for you, right? Because to get these compounding results, you want to get this feeling every single day, not just today, but also tomorrow and the next day and the next day, right? You have to recode yourself so you can achieve these results and you can seize those moments from moment to compounding results. Now, I'm Jonathan Steeman. Your life is your label. And I dare you to unlabel yourself. I'm out. Thank you so much.
A simple step can change the way I feel.
Woo! Oh my God.
No perfect sign. The starting line is right here in my mind. Every journey needs a doorway. Every fire needs a flame. So I'm telling you my vision. And today I make the change. So I'll say it out loud.
Jonathan Steeman. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Up next is Joseph McClendon III. We have so much to come this afternoon, so many incredible things ahead of us. There's still so much to do, but hey, how was Jonathan? Let's throw a 1 in the chat if you appreciated that exercise, if you're feeling connected with your purpose right now, if that made an impact on you. Jonathan's watching those comments right now. He is celebrating alongside all of you. What a beautiful experience to go alongside him in that way. No, there is still so much more to come here in the My Moment Challenge. As we've said, Joseph McClendon III is up next. So you better have your work done. You better be ready. The man himself is on the way. We're looking forward to his session today and being able to dive deeper into all things My Moment. Just a couple more minutes, y'all. We'll be right with you. Back for Joseph here in just a minute.
This is the life we're creating now. We're making our move. We're taking our chance. Putting tomorrow into our hands. Ooh, watch us begin. Ooh, we're going all in. We'll say it out loud, strong and proud. This is the life we're creating now. Here we go, here we go.
welcome back. It is so beautiful to see your smiling faces. And first and foremost, that guy Jonathan, was that spectacular or what? Show me some love, show him some love, because he can see it as well. And I want to share with you something as you do that, as you're looking at that. I've known this man for a couple of years now, and I've watched him grow, and he is what he said, an elite neuroencoding specialist. And what that means is he changes other people's lives as well. That was his story, and he showed you how he changed his story, or how he changed his life. Well, he has a skill set of going out there and doing that for other people as well. And I'm so proud to be his friend, and so proud to be in support of him and everybody else. It's the same with Anitha that you saw yesterday, and Sandra that you're going to meet a little bit later. We bring these people out because we want you to see, we want you to feel, we want you to experience what happens when you take control. So type of 1, because we're getting ready to step off today, ladies and gentlemen. Type of 1 if you are ready to take control today, just so I can see it. Absolutely perfect. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for showing up here today. You know, one of my mentors, his name was Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn used to always tell me, he used to go, Joseph, if you can't see what I see in you, borrow my glasses. And that's what I say to you out here. I may not know you personally yet, and I do know that you're a human being, and you would not be here if you didn't have a desire inside of you to go further, faster, to do something different. And that's where you are right now. And my promise to you, our whole team's promise to you, is to make sure that you have the tools so that you can do that as well. So again, thank you for being here, and we're going to jump in. Let me tell you what's getting ready to happen today. Before I do, first off, type of 1, if you did your homework. There were 2 things that you needed to do. Write down number 1, what you wanted, and then number 2, you took the Toxic 10 quiz. Perfect. If you didn't do it, you can still do it later. However, here's what I want you to know. Everything is by design. This is transformation by design. And what that means is that we're not just up here having you do some fun stuff and things like that. We want to go to the core so you get a result. And so in that quiz, how many of you, type of 1, now know what your number 1 culprit is? I want to see it. Matter of fact, type what your number 1, yeah, some of you say procrastination, hesitation, look at you, perfect, self-doubt, all of those things. Here's what I want you to know about you. You already, right now, know more than 99% of the people on the freaking planet about yourself, about what you can use to make a difference in your life. So throw your hand in the air, pat yourself on the back, give yourselves a hand. And I'm not giving you hype. I want you to know that most people never take the time to do that. You know now. And so what is going to happen today is a couple things. Number 1, I'm going to show you what your next path is. I should say number 1, I'm going to teach you a couple things. But that is less important than what your next path is, because you already know more than most people. But I'm going to teach you a couple more things about how we function as human beings, what makes us do what we do. But then I'm going to show you what your next path is. Because remember this, and get clear on this. Let me grab a seat here for a second so we can get up in your mug on this. And I want you to get really clear on this, and that is this. What Jonathan just did for you, that felt good, yes? And you're having some experiences here that feel good, yes? So what? That doesn't last. If there's anything that I want you to remember from yesterday and about you, what changes your life is what you do outside of here. Because you can have a good time, you can have a great experience, you're having some memories, you're having some moments now that make you feel good. Well, what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do the next day? What are you going to do the next day? And like Jonathan said, so that it compounds your growth. My dad used to always tell us, he used to say, listen, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Type of 1 if you've heard that saying before. Yeah, and it's the absolute truth. So if you don't have a plan for what's going to happen outside of here, then guess what? This is just going to be a good time. It's just going to, you had some good times and some good things. So like I said, I'm going to teach you a little bit more about how we function as human beings, then we're going to do something about it. But before we do, I didn't do something yesterday. And I want to share with you some reality, because the story that I told you about yesterday when they gave me the apple and a map of California and a quarter, I want to show you some realness about it. But before I do, here's what I want you to know, is that in the moment when I was the most fearful, remember when I said I had the apple and I was looking, and I still had living inside of me when I got attacked, I was afraid to go out there. Something happened that flipped my fear into optimism. Remember, I ate my apple and I went about and I did it? And that switch lives inside of you. And that switch to make something like that happen is not something that just happened. It's something that I programmed in myself. You've been hearing this word, and you're going to hear it a few more times. I call it neuro-encoding. I encoded myself to make it that way, and that's what you're going to do as well. So I want to show you actually what happened. So I didn't tell you the whole story. I left. I got that guy to give me a ride into town, and then from that, it was just an unbelievably adventure-filled evening. I went from town to town, and I helped other people, and I did this. I helped people change their lives and change a lot of things, and I wound up on a radio show. Now, just so you know, when you'll see a picture of it here in just a minute, this was 1986 or 87. You'll see by the haircuts and things like that. And at the time, there was the most popular radio show of the day was called the Rick Dees Show, and it was housed, or it was broadcast out of Hollywood, California. And I used to watch or listen to that show all the time. That's when radio was really important. And anyway, I made it onto the show, and the guy gave me $100. He interviewed me, and he gave me $100 and a limousine ride back. So, Brandon, if you would, I have a recording of that, and I want to show you the picture. This is of me when I came back in a limousine, and I found my friend Tony. By the way, I got back faster than anybody else. There was nobody else. I went and I got Tony, and Tony couldn't believe it. And I said, hey, take a look. And we came outside, and this is a picture of me in front of the limousine, and Brandon is going to show you or play the recording. Look at the haircuts on both of us.
.7 Kiss FM. It's Suzanne Vega, and it is 9:52. Liz, I love challenges.
You certainly do.
And meet the man who has met a challenge. His name is Joseph McClendon III, where the weather where he had just come from is 105 today.
Yuck.
Say hello to Mr. Palm Springs himself. Joseph,
Hello, Rick.
how are you?
I'm doing just wonderful now that I made it here.
Well, you met a challenge. What is this?
Well, the challenge was to get here, meet you, and talk to you. And they gave me, last night they took away my credit cards, my money and everything, and gave me $1 quarter, 1 apple, and a map. I've still got my quarter and a map. And just to rely on my resources that I've learned in this course that I took on neuro-linguistic programming, and rely on my resources to get here.
Are you making this up?
And I'm glad to say that no, I'm not.
Neuro-linguistic?
Yes.
Neuro-linguistic
Yes.
resources. Now, when you say they gave you a map, who is they?
Well, there's a gentleman by the name of Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins, who wrote a book called Unlimited Power, for you to program your nervous system and get the results you want. And I took the course. I'm graduating tomorrow, and this was the test.
Final exam.
This was the
Yes.
final exam. They gave him a quarter, an apple. They let him out in the middle of Palm Springs, out there in the desert. And they said, Joseph McClendon III, your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to get inside the inner sanctum of KISS, past all the guards, the gates, Waldo Cluck, the
weirdo.
Black Club, the weirdos,
Juanita.
And
Juanita.
I must say, you guys put up a hell of a fight, too. Because
Joseph, you are on the air. You're in the inner sanctum. You have passed the test.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. You know, we had Richard Bazzi with his hairy arms from American Aristocrat Limousines. Put that quarterback in your pocket. We are going to limo you back to your home.
Yes.
And not only for passing the exam and winning the course and all that stuff, a crisp new $100 bill. Yay!
And so that's the absolute real thing that happened there. Yeah. Show that guy some love. Yes. And as you can see by the haircuts and the style, I was looking at it now, the style of the limousines, that was a new limousine back in the day. And so what happened was I left that radio show, they gave me a limousine ride, and it was like an hour and a half ride back to Palm Springs. And I'd never been in a limousine before then, by the way. And I was in there, and I don't know if they said it on here, but I said on the air, I said, there are 300 other people that are out there, and if you see somebody, because back in the day you could hitchhike without having to worry about getting murdered in the streets. But I said, if you see somebody there, on the side of the road, pick them up because they can help you. And so when I got back, and I had the rest of the day to lay around the pool while everybody else trickled in. And it was I got back probably about 9:30 in the morning, and I had the rest of the day till 10 o'clock at night when everybody else started to show up. And there were some amazing stories and amazing things that people did. But one of the things that was really great was two things. And the reason I have this recording was because Tony had me get on stage and tell everybody what happened, and more specifically, what I did to myself and what I did for other people to help me get there. And do you know that these people that I'd been 2 weeks with, they didn't believe it. They didn't believe me. They said, they thought I was making this up. And so fortunately, somebody had stopped and picked them up had a recording of that. That's how I have that recording to show it. Now, the reason I'm sharing all this stuff with you is this. Two things. Number one, I had to work on myself. And I didn't work on myself in that moment. I worked on myself before that moment. And let me be clear on that. I did lots of work. And back in the day, I didn't have what I call neuroencoding now. I had to work on myself before that moment occurred. So that when moments like that showed up, I would default to the better me. I would default to the person that had courage, that had joy, that had inspiration, that would remember the things to do. Now, type of 1, if you would love to have that kind of, it's at least some of that type of default, so that when stuff happens, because it will, ladies and gentlemen, it already has to you. Type of 1, if you can remember when something happened to you and you responded or reacted in a way that was not positive or actually made the situation worse, or you're worried about something and kept on worried about something that never ever happened, or you talked yourself out of something. You talked yourself out of going for it and making it happen. And I always say things like writing that book, or starting that business, or losing that weight, or gaining that weight, gaining that muscle, whatever it is, and you talked yourself out of it. Now, some of you saw that in your toxic 10. And the challenge is when those things show up, if we have not conditioned ourselves, meaning programmed ourselves, to respond to anything that is adverse with something that makes you optimistic, then you are always going to default to that. Let me repeat myself. If you have not done the work, if you don't have something that is going to make the very thing that causes you to be unresourceful, fearful, all the toxic 10, if you don't have anything that's going to go, boom, ooh, that happened, and now, ooh, that's happening. I don't have to be that way. I can do this. I can do that. If you don't have that, then you're destined to be the same way again. And I can say that with absolute confidence because I see it all the time. Remember earlier when I said that if you can't borrow my glasses, or if you can't see what I see in you, borrow my glasses? That's what I mean. At the risk of sounding arrogant, I've been doing this close to 40 years, 4 decades. And you name it, there's not one situation or one type of fear or phobia or anything that I have not just seen, but I've experienced and helped people work through. And so back in the day, for me to coach you, for me to work with you, ranged anywhere from $50,000 to $350,000 for me to coach you. And I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm saying that that's how valuable this stuff is. How much did you pay to be here? Yeah, the answer is jack. And I told you the reasons why we're doing this. As Jonathan was talking just a little while ago, and it's the same with Anita, and it's going to be the same way with Sandra when she talks as well. I'm close to tears. And the reason I am is because I'm watching them. I'm so proud of them. And I'm so proud of the work that they're doing. They're changing other people's lives as well. And I say that to you as well. Just the fact that you're here listening to me, sharing the most valuable commodity that you have right now is that your time. I love you for that. And it gives me not just hope, but it inspires me to continue to do what I do. And so as we go on today, like I said, I'm going to teach you another couple things about you, what makes you do what you do. Unequivocally, that's the way that it is. Let me show you what your next path is. And You know, the feeling that you got when you discovered your toxic 10? It didn't feel so good, did it? Some of you went, oh yeah, that's it. But it wasn't the, number one feeling. It wasn't the top feeling. But the question still remains, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What is your plan? Because some of you, as you looked at that, you went, yeah, I already know that. I already know that I procrastinate. I already know that I have fear of failure. I already know that I have that. Knowledge is not power. Just knowing something doesn't change things. Now, yesterday when we finished our session, we did what we call the VIP. For those of you that are in VIP, you were there. And I got to answer some questions with people. And you know what the number one theme of the questions were? Joseph, how do I change myself from being, and I'm going to use the word unresourceful, scared, or, how do I change myself from being in a state that I don't want to be into this? How to do that? And my answer was to them, you're going to learn some of it here today. That's what you're going to learn here today. But here's what I want you to know, and I'm going to say it over and over again, and I want you to get this. I want you to get it in your soul. Doing something in the moment, changing something, you can do that. I can help you make a change in the moment. I'm going to give you an example of that here in a second. And I'm going to tell you what happens after that a little bit later as well. I can get that. One of the specialties that I did, I had a practice in Los Angeles where I would help people get over fears and phobias and emotional challenges that hinder their lives. And people think I'm kidding when I say this, but this is the absolute truth, what I'm about to tell you. And I'm just because of time, but you're going to learn it later as you learn how to transform your life by design. There's processes that are things that I can do to snap you out of it in the moment and put something else in there. And again, I'm not going to go into the details now just for the sake of time, but I want you to know it's what I teach these all the people that are neuroencoding specialists and things like that, and what I want to teach you a piece of it as well. But let me give you an example of what it is. So and this is the craziest thing. I didn't know why it was this way, but the number one and number two fears in Los Angeles, remember it's LA, and this is back in the early 90s. So LA is just crazy, right? Los Angeles is crazy already. The number one fear was people that were afraid of dogs, fear of dogs. Number two was men afraid of women. Men afraid to go approach women. And the third one was, I think, fear of heights. But how I would deal with that is this, and I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, because I want you to understand that this is how we function as human beings. That fear that was inside of them, it happened to them. I don't know how it happened to them. Maybe they got bit while they were a little kid. Maybe their mother, by the way, I had a fear of spiders because my mom told me a story about how she got locked in a shed when she was a kid and there were spiders all over the place. And that made me afraid of spiders. So however it happened, it almost doesn't matter. So what I would do, and again, I'm not going to go through the process, but I want you to know how effective this is I would tell this person, and there is a way that you're going to learn to be able to capture a positive state. Jonathan did that in a moment. That state that you have, to be able to capture it so that you can duplicate it, so that you can bring it up. And that's what I would do first with this person. I go, how do you feel about this? Tell me something that you're excited about. Tell me when you were courageous or whatever. And I'd capture that so there was something that I could do with that person to make them bring that back up. That alone is valuable beyond measure. Type of one, if you had a skill or something that you could do to yourself that you would automatically feel great. Beautiful. And by the way, do not slack off now. Continue to play with me. It's just typing a 1 is as silly as it is. Continue to do that because there's a method to my madness, as you're going to see here in a second. And what would happen is I'd get that piece, and then I had a friend that had a Rottweiler. And a Rottweiler, in case you don't know, it's one of those dogs this dog was about 60 or 70 pounds. He was a big, nasty looking dog. They're black and they're brown, and they just, they look nasty. And they look like they would just kill you if they got a hold of you, and they could. Matter of fact, there was an old movie called Damien, and they called them devil dogs. Type of one if you know what a Rottweiler is. And they use them as guard dogs, and they're like that kind of thing. Well, I had a friend that had a Rottweiler. But this dog was he was just a big puppy. And he was just a lover. And if you walked into the room, as soon as he saw you, he would jump up and he would charge you and he'd jump on you and lick you. And he'd just, his little nub of a tail would be wiggling and he'd just want to love on you. And so I would take my friend's dog. Now I know some of you are going to do this on your own with your dog if you have a dog. If you look in the top of the roof of a dog's mouth, their mouth is like wedges in there. And if you take peanut butter or toothpaste and put it in there, the dog tries to lick it off and they foam at the mouth. So I would take my dog, or take my friend's dog, and I would chain him up to my desk. And my desk I had marble floors in my office, and I'd take the rubber feet off of the desk. So now it's metal to the marble. And then I would walk that person in. Now remember, first off, this guy has unbelievable trust in me right now, and he just has this unbelievable belief that I'm going to change his life. And I am. But first, I'm going to do something that is a bit unorthodox. And in case you haven't figured it out, I am a bit unorthodox at what I do, but this is how I get results. I'm able to be at the position that I am in life and be able to help as many people as I can. Not because I'm so cute or adorable or funny. It's because the processes that I use and I teach people work, period. Even as unorthodox and unlikely as they seem. Remember yesterday I said, that the honeybee that flies around, it doesn't know that it's pollinating the flowers. Well, that's how I work. So I'd walk the person in, and the person would walk in, and as soon as they'd see the dog would jump up and charge them, dragging the desk behind them with that, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard, screeching. Now, what does the person do? They freak the hell out. Because their worst nightmare, and by the way, guess who they're really uncertain with? Me. And they're looking at me like, why would you do this thing? And the dog is charging. It's their worst nightmare. And in that moment, I have one of those air horns, the canned air. And I'd blast it like that, and I'd throw a glass of water on them. Now, again, I'm just giving you the process right now, but the philosophy and the mechanics behind it, I'm going to teach you later. But in that moment, now he's no longer worried about the dog. He's looking at me like, why'd you do that? And in that moment, I would fire off that thing to make him feel good, and that would go into place. Did that a few times, and pretty soon he'd go, stop throwing water on me. What's the dog's name? And in that moment, they're no longer afraid of the dog. That phobia is gone. Did I have to find out where it came from? No. Did I have to go back into his history? No. And this is coaching, by the way. This is not therapy. But here's what I want you to know, and I'm going to remind you of this later. He got the result there. But it's what he did afterwards that I give him something to do. And I'd coach them afterwards every day for a little while after that to make sure that it's stuck. Now take that and set it aside for a minute. First off, take type of 1 if that makes sense. And by the way, I do the same thing with fear of women and fear of heights and things like that in its different way. So set that aside for a second. I'm going to come back to it. But the point I want you to get is A, I got the result. And B, the most important part was what happened when they left. Yes, we got a result, just like you got the result with Jonathan. Type of 1 if that felt real good. I was sitting over there and I was watching him and I was watching you as well. And you guys were standing up and you're engaging and it felt good. That felt really good, didn't it? And what he said is so true. That you want to do that tomorrow and the next day and the next day to the point that pretty soon that's who it is, who you are, compounded. And you have what is called momentum. Now here's what I want you to remember. By the way, Will, the screen went black here. Here's what I want you to remember, is that what happens with us as human beings in the moment is temporary. What makes us continue to go is something called momentum. Matter of fact, write that down, momentum. Put that in your chat, momentum. Now, most of us think of momentum as just, keep on going, that kind of thing. When I teach it, momentum is actually, first off, momentum in its technical definition is forward motion with energy. That's it. You take a bowling ball and you throw it, you've given it the energy and it keeps on going. And as long as it keeps on going, as long as there's nothing that stops it, it'll keep on going. It has momentum. Human momentum, meaning what makes you keep on going, is forward motion with emotion, with feelings. So when you have emotion attached to your motion, you have momentum. Type of 1 if that makes sense. But here's the beautiful thing. Watch this. Where does your momentum come from? Where does your energy come from? I got to get up in the camera on this one. You can stay there. Your moments. It comes from your moments, you freak. That's why the word moment is in momentum. So the moments that you have, and like I said yesterday, we have the ability as human beings. It's the unique skill that we have as human beings. And it is a skill that can be learned. To create moments. And the more moments you create, like the one that Jonathan gave you, like the one that Anita gave you, the more that you have, and the more that you do them, the more that you live them, sometimes every day, that becomes your momentum. Type of 1 if this makes sense. And by the way, when I call you freaks, I mean that lovingly. Because freaks are people that do something different. And so, having said that, you're using the moments to continually move you forward. But, do you have to stop and make yourself, feel that moment every single time? You can do that, but most people forget. Most people forget those moments that make us go forward. So let me ask you 2 questions. Number 1 is, I didn't finish this earlier today when I said this. Part of your homework was, what do you want? And so I want you to type in the chat, what is it that you want? What do you want? When I ask that question, what do you want? Now here's the interesting thing. Yeah, somebody says peace. Somebody says certainty. Somebody says, they want wealth. Great, okay? Freedom. And all these things that you're putting in there. If you're not putting it in there, that means you don't know. You're still guessing at it. But here's what I want you to know. When you know what you want, which is part of what we're going to do when we leave here, part of what I'm going to set you up for. So you say, Pastor, when you know what you want, and we can get very clear on that, then I can help you get it. Remember when I said yesterday, most people know what they don't want. And I told you the story about depression washes over me like a scalding hot wave of debilitating emotion. People know what they don't want. But one of my promises to you is to help you figure out exactly what you want. I gave you the context of we all want to be wealthy, which is healthy, happy, financially abundant. We all want that. But to break that stuff down, that's what it keeps going. Now I'm going to share with you something. I'm going to share with you a bunch of stuff. But one thing I want you to know is this. My success in my life, and I'm going to back up for a second. I have and am having 5 careers. My first career was in real estate. It was shortly after I read that book and I learned to think and grow rich. I didn't have any money. And I took a course on how to buy houses for no money down. And this was back in, like I said, 1987, 1988. And I took a weekend course, because courses are great, aren't they? You learn stuff. And right now, it's easier than ever because my son calls it YouTube University. You can go on YouTube and learn how to do anything. But if you don't do it, so what? It's just knowledge. And so there were 300 people, about 300 people in my class. And the guy told us, I just taught you 50 ways to buy houses for no money down. And most people thought it was a scam and that kind of thing, and it wasn't. He just taught us the way to do it, and he did it, and he showed us what to do, and he said, go out there and do it. But I'll never forget this. He said, here's what is going to happen to you guys. He said, out of the 300 people here, only 10 of you are actually going to buy a house. And I thought, wow. And he said, because here's what's going to happen to you. The rest of you are going to get caught up in some things. The first time I heard this saying, the paralysis of analysis. I got to learn more. I got to learn more. I got to learn more. I call it ready, aim, type of 1 if you get stuck in that. If you've been stuck in that before, all of us. He said, out of that 10, only 2 of you will actually buy a second house. And by the way, their plan was you buy these houses and you sell some of them, but then you also rent some of them out and you have residual income. There's a lot more to this story, but I want you to get the gist of it. And he said, out of that 2, only 1 of you in here is going to go on to buy more houses. Now, when he said that, fortunately for me, I had a secret weapon. Now, I didn't have it as refined as what you're going to have it now, but I did know how to take myself out of fear and doubt and pessimism and all those things. Because one of the things was, you had to call people up on the phone. You had to look them up in the newspaper. You guys remember newspapers, right? Look them up in the newspaper and call them up and go, hey, listen, I see you have your house for sale. May I come over and talk to you about this? And make them an offer. Read this script and all that stuff. And that's where most people didn't do it, because of fear of rejection. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I had it as well, but I also knew how to cancel that out of me. And so do you know that in less than a year and a half's time, I bought 26 houses. And I still benefit from this to this day. 26 houses. And I didn't keep all 26 of them, but I bought 26 houses. And I say that not to brag or to boast. I just want you to know that what I'm talking to you about works. I don't teach something that I don't do myself. That was my first career. That was my first fortune, if you will. Second thing that I did was I wanted to be a musician. I was a musician, but I wanted to get a recording deal. Long story short, I got what's called a development deal with CBS Records in 1990. Made a bunch of songs and all those things. Third thing that I wanted to do, and I was making money on that, was I wanted to make some more money, because that career kind of went away. I won't go into why it was. That went away. So I joined a network marketing company. Now here's the deal. Most people, when you hear that, it's just like, no, they're on that kind of thing. But matter of fact, the person that was my sponsor, for lack of a better term, was the first person that I actually coached. For $250,000 a year, I coached him, and he said, well, let me show you what I do. And I got to a 6-figure income in less than 2 years. And I was the first African-American in that company that did that. Name of the company is irrelevant. What I want you to get is there's a process, there's a system all the way through to be able to do this. Next thing I wanted to do was fulfill a little bit more on my promise that I made to the gentleman that gave me the book, and that is to touch more people's lives. So I wanted to write a book, and I wrote, my first book was a New York Times bestseller. Other thing that I wanted to do was what I do right now, and I've been doing this for quite a while. Be a coach, a speaker, and all those things. And again, at the risk of sounding arrogant, I'm one of the #1 people in the world. I've had the privilege of being over 6 million people. Why am I telling you all this stuff? Because every single one of them required me to become a different person. Nobody was going to teach it to me. Every single one of them required me to be able to overcome my toxic tin and replace it with something else. And that's the same with you, whatever your career is, whatever you want to have happen, whatever happens in your life, it's the same with you. You want to go further, faster? Remember that? Get what you want sooner rather than later? You must learn that skill, and it is a skill. And so the question is, what do you want? When you look at what you want, how does it make you feel inside? Do you get excited and go, there's no question about it, I'm going to make it happen because I'm the absolute best. I'm the magic man, or I'm the magic woman, I'm going to make it happen. Or do you go, I don't know how that's going to happen, I tried it before, or whatever. Whatever shows up for you, that will dictate how you're going to go forward. And the guy with the real estate, he was absolutely true. I was the only born one in that class. And again, I'm not saying this to brag or to boast, I just want you to know, I don't teach theory. And the beautiful part about it is I don't teach something that I don't do myself and that I haven't taught other people to do as well. And now it is your turn. So I have a question for you, another question. And I want you to type it in the chat. Stay engaged with me. What is your favorite memory? What is your favorite of all times? What is your favorite memory? Now look at the chat. You guys are thinking about it. Now here's what's going through most of your heads right now. Okay? Now they're starting to come in. You have to search for it. You got to make it happen. Okay? What if, remember what Jonathan did, what if you could use that memory and the feeling that you got to help you have momentum? I'm going to tell you what mine was. And I did see somebody said it right there. It was the birth of my son. The moment that he came into this world, that was my favorite beyond anything. And I can access that right away. But guess what? That's just one. How many do you really have? You got millions of memories, favorite moments. And to be able to take from those and bring it forward to put the essence of that feeling into what's going forward, into the thing that you want, it's magic, ladies and gentlemen. That's your reasons why. That's what makes you get up early, stay up late, and do the extra stuff that makes it happen. That's the thing that makes you, when it's time to eat salad, if you want to lose weight, but you get cake over here and you go eat the salad. You don't go, well, I'm going to eat the cake now and I'll eat the salad later. That moment that makes you go, I'm going to go do what I know I should, could, would do to get my goal. That's a moment that you get to not just capture, but remember what I said? There's a way to capture it and capture the good and put it in the unresourceful place. That's when you design your transformation. You see, transformation, you still get to be who you are, but even a different form. Think about this. When you think about transformation, I know this is a silly metaphor, but I want you to look at it this way. If you take water, you put it on the stove and you boil it, what happens? It boils and it turns into steam. It transforms into steam. It's still water, but it's another form and it gets to go wherever it wants. Look at it this way with you. You get to still be the water. You get to still be who you are, but you get to be the best parts of you. Type of 1, if you've ever done something and when you did it, you went like this. I'm amazing. Did I do that? Wow. Yeah, all of us. Type of 1, if you have unbelievable certainty about something in your life. Matter of fact, tell me what it is. There's no question you can do this, whatever it is. Tell me what it is. And by the way, what I'm doing is I'm causing you to remember. Okay? Some of you are saying, run a marathon like Jonathan, okay? Build $1 billion business, beautiful, okay? Roller skate. $20,000 a month. This is spectacular. You guys, and by the way, some of this is because you're feeling good right now. You're feeling possibility, yes. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes when it comes down to actually doing it, something gets in the way. And let me give you an example. Right now, and by the way, I have to this date spent in my education, my formal education, as well as every course that I've taken and all these things, well over $350,000 in educating myself. But I can honestly say I've made 50 times that much, more than that, back because of the stuff that I learned. But here's the difference. Even that course that I told you about, what I learn, I do. I almost don't even care how much it costs. A few weeks ago, I took a course, an AI course. Why? Because I know that if I do what it says, then I'm going to be ahead of the pack. And I remember in there, and because they told me, they said, listen, there's going to be 2 kinds of people, 3 kinds of people here in the future. The kind that don't use AI at all and they're just afraid of it, and that's fine if you are. And then the other kind, the people that are going to dabble in it and use it as like a Google search or something like that to answer questions. And the other one are the people that are going to use it to make their lives go further, faster. Those are my words. And I remember the first thing I did was I went in there and there's a guy that made $1 billion. And I was just testing this thing out. And he's the first billionaire with no company, with no employees, with no brick and mortar, no building. It was just him and his brother and AI. Billionaire. And so I went in and I asked Claude, I said, I want you to tell me everything that guy did, start to finish. And I want you to make me a plan so I can do it. And it was great because it took it like 20 minutes and it gave me everything that this guy did. But here's the deal. You got to do it. And that's the human condition. It's easier right now to find out anything, but you got to do it. And that is why I love what I do. Say, I'm going to help you do it. The truth of the matter is, what happens to human beings is this, is that we kind of get caught up in the dream and the excitement about it in the moment. But here's what I want you to know. I'm going to teach you a little bit about you, and then I'm going to tell you what your path is, just like I said. And this is so exciting for me because I know it's going to be for you. Okay? Take and set aside now your favorite memory. Take and set aside what we said, all the things we said before with regard to how to help you go further, faster, and what your next step is and all that. Set it aside. We're going to come back to it. Okay? And stop for a second and take a deep breath and shake yourself out like that. You've been sitting for a minute and shake yourself out. Put a smile on your face. There you go. And type a 1 if you're feeling good. And type a 1 if you're excited about what's next. I am for you as well. And by the way, I want to make this so ridiculously simple for you. You're going to love it. Okay. So remember yesterday when I said that where I grew up, people used to run into telephone poles. And the reason they ran into telephone poles is because they're looking at the pole. Let's take it a step further, why that is. And this should change everything for you. Because wherever you look, with your eyes open or your eyes closed, is where you're going to go. Your body's going to go, even if you don't want it, even if it doesn't make sense. Wherever you look, with your eyes open or your eyes closed, and when your eyes close, that's your imagination. You're going to go there. Your body is going to respond that way. And let me give you a perfect example. Unless you're driving, close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, here's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine it's an unbelievably hot day. And imagine you're in your living room. And I want you to imagine yourself, you're on your couch, maybe you get up off your couch, it's just miserable hot. And you go into the kitchen and you open up the refrigerator door and the cool air hits you. And there on the shelf is a big, fat, juicy, yellow lemon. Take that lemon out and I want you to cut it in half. Take half of that lemon and bring it up to your nose and I want you to smell the fragrance of that lemon. With your eyes closed, imagine it. Put that half of the lemon down and take the other half of the lemon and bring it up, and as you're getting ready to smell that, take a bite out of that lemon. And then I want you to take your front teeth and rake the meat of it out, and I want you to chew it up. Don't swallow. I want you to chew it up, and I want you to crunch some of those seeds and let the juice run under your tongue. Now, open your eyes. Type in the chat what is happening in your mouth right now. Yeah, you're salivating. You're drooling. Your mouth is watering. Look at me. There's no lemons in the room. Maybe you are at your house, but there's no lemons there. But your body responded as though it's real. I want you to get it. As simple as this is, that's part of how we function as human beings. Your body, your brain cannot tell the difference when you imagine it. That is why when Jonathan had you do that, it felt good. There was no freaking circle. There was no ball. But you made it up in your mind and your body believed it. You had a moment in that moment. So we're going to do something together that I want you to remember. And by the way, in a minute, I'm going to give you a moment that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. I'm going to program you, and you're going to remember for the rest of your life. But here's how we function as human beings. Whatever you think is going to cause you to feel something. And remember, thoughts are just pictures and words. They're your beliefs. Your beliefs are just a thought that make you feel certainty. Whatever you think will cause you to feel a certain way. And whatever you feel is going to determine what you do. If you feel good, you're going to do something. If you feel scared, you're not going to. If you feel excited, you're going to do something. If you feel, like doubtful, then you're going to procrastinate. Type of 1 if this makes sense. And so it goes like this. Whatever you think will cause you to feel. Whatever you feel will cause you to do. Whatever you do is what you're going to have. It goes think, feel, do, have. That's it. That's how you function as a human being. Not some of the time, not most of the time, all of the time. Think, feel, do, have. Now here's what I want you to do. I'm going to do it with you. Stand up. Let's do a little fun exercise. Okay? And what I want you to do, let me move this out of the way. I'll bring that back here in a second. I want you to do this with me, okay? Watch this. Now, don't do it until I tell you. It goes like this. As I think, so I feel. And as I feel, so I do. And as I do, so I have. I'll do it again. You guys are adorable. As I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. As I do, so I have. You do it on the count of 3. You got to point your head, rub your chest, shake your ass. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. As I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. As I do, so I have. Give yourselves a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Now here's what I want you to know. For the rest of your life, now you know why you do what you do. If you did something stupid, that's what you were thinking. Yes. Think, feel, do, have. If you procrastinate, it's because that's what you were thinking. You were thinking procrastinative thoughts, which made you feel doubtful and any of that stuff. That's it. It's not any more complicated than that. So what do we do with that? Now remember earlier I said that when we do things, when you remembered your favorite moment, the birth of your child, you bought a car, you got married, you had your first kiss, whatever it is, you have millions of them. And when you do, remember what I talked about, momentum. When you remember them, look at it. Everything you've ever touched, tasted, smelled, and experienced is in your other than conscious mind. It's back there. But we don't always remember it. To dismember means to take apart. When you can't find your car keys is because it's back there. You know where they are. But your conscious and your subconscious mind are disconnected. But what do? Every single time you remember or you find your keys, you go, oh yeah, that's where they are. And you feel good. Now pay attention. Look what I just did. You went, oh yeah, that's where they are. That smile on your face and that aha moment releases endorphins, dopamine, oxytocin into your system, and your system goes, remember that. So the next time you lose your keys, guess where the first place you look? It's where you left them last time. Type of 1 if this makes sense. Perfect. Now watch this. I'm going to show you an experience. You're going to have an experience. You're going to have a moment right now that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. And if you've done this with me before, you already know. And you've already seen this. But here's what I want you to know. We only learn 2 ways. Repetition, meaning if you do something over and over again, that's how you learn a skill. You know how to tie your shoes, ride a bicycle, drive a car, write your name, because you did it over and over again. Type of 1, if you agree with me, you understand that. That's the only way, that's the way we learn. But that's the slow way. There is another way that's faster. That is a transformation by design way. That is a neuroencoding way. And it's called significant emotional event. And what that means is, when something happens and there's an immense amount of emotion, remember, emotion creates motion, then your nervous system goes, remember that. Whether it's good emotion or bad emotion, whether it's fear or whether it's happiness, your nervous system goes, that means something, remember it. You know how I said yesterday, somebody can introduce themselves, hi, they say, my name is Beverly. And then 10 minutes later, you can't remember her name because in that moment, you didn't make it mean anything. So when you have a significant emotional event, it goes in quicker, deeper, faster. Let me give you an example. When you were a baby, at some point for all of us, you stuck your hand on something hot in a fire, or you touched the stove or an iron or something like that. And it burned you, and it gave you an unbelievable amount of emotion. That pain made you go, ah, whatever. And for the rest of your life, you never stuck your hand. You only had to learn that lesson one time. Type of 1 if that makes sense. Well, I'm going to do it to you right now, and you can't stop me, and you're going to learn this lesson, and you're going to have this moment for the rest of your life, and it's going to be a trigger for the whole rest of your freaking life. And as I said, if you've been around me before and you did this, it's already there. It's in your nervous system. I did it to you before, and you got it. Type of 1 if you have ever seen the FedEx logo. Yeah. It's international. I do this all over the world, by the way. We did it in China, and it was there a few months ago, okay? Now, in case you haven't, Brandon, show the FedEx logo. There it is. Look at it. You've seen it 1,000 times. Now, Brandon, take it away. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's the question. Which direction, left or right, does the arrow face? Type of 1 if you say the arrow points to the right when you're looking at it. Type of 2 if you're saying the arrow faces to the left. Okay. Type of 3 if you're going, what arrow, Joseph? Yeah, look at all the 3s. Now watch this. Brandon, put it back up there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look between the orange E and the X. the big E and the X. See the arrow between the E and the X? All right, now what is happening to you right now, take it away, Brandon, put it back on me, okay? Here's what you did. I can see it in the chats, and I can see it in you. Now look at me, okay? I'm going to exaggerate it, but this is what you did. You looked at it, and you went like this, and I said, look between the E and the X, and you went like this. Oh! That was emotion, and a specific kind of emotion. Because what happened when those eyebrows went up and the smile on your face or whatever, your brain released endorphins, dopamine, oxytocin, and your brain said, what does this mean? What happened just before I felt good? Oh, we saw the X. Now guess what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? For the rest of your life, you're going to see that X every time you see the FedEx check. So I just gave you a significant emotional event. This is encoded. I just encoded you. But watch this. You know it's going to happen. You cannot stop me. Brandon, put it back up there. Now look at the X. Now you see the X right away, right? Right away. All right, Brandon, take it down. Now here's the question. Which direction does the spoon face, left or right? Type of 1, if you say the spoon faces to the right. Type of 2, if you say the spoon faces to the left. Type of 3, if you're going, what spoon, Joseph? Now watch this. You know I'm going to do it, and you can't stop it. I'm going to program you for the rest of your freaking life. Put it back up there, Brandon. All right, look at below the small e, the hole below, then the small e. After the X, the hole in the E right below it. There's a spoon facing to the left. Somebody said, shit. That's funny. All right, Brandon, put me back on. Now for the rest, Brandon, did you circle that? That was funny. Now for the rest of your life, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see that spoon and that X for the rest of your life. That's called encoding. You just got encoded, ladies and gentlemen, the rest of your life. And that's how it works. You see, motivation is, and shall I say, a momentum, if you will, comes from encoding yourself or recoding yourself. See, you have a code that says, I don't know what that X is or that E or that spoon is. You have a code that says, I am this. You know, I'm too fat, I'm too white, I'm too black, I'm this. I'm not worthy. I can't make enough money or whatever. You have a coding inside of you that stops you, that holds you back. That coding is your toxic 10. If you don't do anything about it, it's going to not only be there, it's going to get worse. You know, people that want to lose weight, and I always use things like losing weight and making money only because it's low-hanging fruit, but is synonymous with everything that we do. People that smoke cigarettes, they know it's bad for them, but they keep on smoking. Alcohol, weed, any of that stuff, those are addictions. Food is an addiction. And not one of us that wants to lose weight and doesn't know how to lose weight. You quit putting so much food in your pie hole and move your body, you'll lose weight. It's physics. But what happens when it's time to do the hard stuff? We don't do it. And the bad part about it is the more we won't do it and the more we sink into that toxic 10. And there have been studies done, and the studies show that there's a part of this called neuroplasticity. The brain is malleable, the brain grows, and there's certain parts of your brain that grow and shrink. And when I say grow, I don't mean so much in size as I mean in density, what are called neural pathways. And there's a part of your brain that's called your prefrontal mid-cingulate cortex. You don't have to remember that, but it's a part of your brain that is responsible for getting you to take action, and more specifically, continue to take action. All the parts of your brain work together, but this particular part is the last place that goes, go do it, sends those muscles to go do it. And here's what they found. People that procrastinate, or people that have low momentum and low motivation and things like that, that part of the brain is smaller. And when I say smaller, less density. And it gets less and less. It atrophies the more time goes on. Because whatever you repeat, remember, repetition makes things happen. Whatever you repeat is what it's going to be. And so if you repeat over and over again that you eat the wrong foods, or you sit on the couch and you don't do what you're going to, then it's going to be harder and harder for you to get off your ass and do it. Type of 1, if this makes sense. But here's the great part. It works just in reverse as well. If you do something that's hard, and you do it the way that I tell you, your brain releases endorphins, dopamine, oxytocin. Your brain goes, hey, that's good. What just happened? Let's do it again. And your brain grows. And you remember. Remember, dismember takes apart, remember puts back together. And your brain grows. That part of your brain grows. And what that means is that you're more likely to do what the difficult stuff. Remember yesterday, I said earlier that the people on VIP asked the question, how do I change this? And which one do I work on? Well, here's the great thing. It doesn't, you're gonna work on your toxic 10. I'm gonna work on it with you. By the way, type of 1 if you'd love to have me in your pocket, meaning to coach you on that specific thing. Yeah, me too. No. But when you work on one thing, it has an effect on other things as well, all the other negative stuff as well. And so, when you do it, not when I do it for you, when you do it, your brain goes, hey, that feels good, and I am the one, and it makes you feel good. It gives you confidence. It gives you certainty. And by the way, type of 1, if you could use a bit more certainty and confidence in your life. Everybody. And that's what it comes from. It doesn't come from you just going to a seminar and getting excited. It doesn't come from you knowing something. It comes from you doing it. Certainty, confidence is a skill. It's a skill that you all had, but by not doing it, it atrophies out. Or something happens and it makes it go. Every baby is born with unbelievable certainty. They believe that they're the center of the world, and all I got to do is cry out, and somebody's going to come do something for me. And they learn that over and over again. Baby comes out and goes, wow, and somebody shows up like magic and goes, here's something to eat, or they stuff a boob in its mouth or whatever, and they give it a toy or whatever, and they change its diaper, and the baby has unbelievable certainty. And as time goes on, guess what happens? They learn that, wait a minute, I'm not that great because there's conditions to that love. There's conditions to people coming doing things for me. And they start to doubt themselves. And the cascading effect, remember, those are moments, and that's who made us who we are right now. I shared with you my moments that, when I got attacked, that was a significant emotional event that affected the rest of my life. And you've had some as well, I'm sure. But when you do it yourself, you start to recapture that. When you do something yourself, when you step up and do it, it makes you feel good. Type in the chat something that you're proud of. Anything at all. Somebody says, my daughter. Okay. Yeah, but you're a CPA, never giving up. My art. Running like Jonathan. I'm a professor. I'm a mom. I'm a dad. And all these things. And why am I doing this to you guys? Because I want you to remember, it's already inside of you. What I'm going to do with you is help you get it out. Now, I know I've been saying that, but I'm going to tell you that it's the absolute truth. And when you do it yourself, when you step up and do it yourself, there's a growth that happens to you. Let me ask you a question. If you're walking along and there on the sidewalk in front of you was a Medal of Honor, a Purple Heart, or a Medal of Valor, would you pick it up and wear it as though it's yours? Yes or no? No. Why? Because you didn't earn it. You wouldn't do it. You didn't earn it. What would you want to do? You would want to return it to the person that did earn it. You would want to give it and go, hey, I found this. And by the way, you're amazing. You did it because they did it themselves. And that person, they got that medal, they got that thing because they did it. Well, the same thing exists in you. And as metaphoric as this is going to sound, you have a Medal of Honor. And the only person that can give it to you, I'm going to help you do it, is you. And when you do, you get to remember how awesome you are. You get to remember that you can do anything. You get to remember all the things that you had as a youth. And when that happens, you transform. And you transform, and you can design it and make it happen. And so what I want you to understand is this. As I said before, it's not what happens now. It's what happens when you leave here. And so, having said all of that, remember when I talked to you, I set it aside, the dog in the room. Your dog is whatever came up on the toxic 10 there. And most of the people do not want to visit that place. Well, we're going to visit it, you and I, every day for a few days. We're going to visit it, and you're going to work on that, because it's not what happens in that. Obviously, we get some momentum in that room when I do that, and I throw the glass of water on them and all those things. But it's what happens afterwards. Because I send that person home, and I give them some things to do. And I follow up with that person every day. Anywhere from 5 to 10 days, I follow up with them, and I have them do something. And when they do it, it fortifies the significant emotional event that they had. Now, type of 1, if you have had a good time while we're here so far, and you've learned a couple things. If I just left you now, you get to come away and you get to go, I learned some great things that were happening. And you're going to miss the most valuable part of it, and that is to have something that is going to carry you forward. And that is this. I'm going to share with you something. Remember I said I'm going to set you up with what your next step is. And your next step is what happens after tomorrow when this is over. After tomorrow when this is over. And when it's over, what are you going to do tomorrow? What is your plan? What is your plan? How are you going to transform who you are so that you go further faster? And so what that is what we're going to do is you got to ask yourself, who are you, and how are you going to operate at your absolute optimum? And it's a process, ladies and gentlemen. A process is just a system and a way that you do things. You see, knowledge is, as we said 100 times, knowledge is not power. It's powerful, and it makes you feel good in the moment. When you have that aha moment, it feels good in the moment. But so what if it's gone tomorrow? Because Monday always comes. And what I mean by that, you can go through a weekend. How many of you have had an unbelievable weekend? And even in that weekend, you go, this week I'm going to get this, I'm going to do that. And then Monday comes and you go, oh, hell, I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. And when it comes time to do that stuff, you go one of the most, in my opinion right now, one of the most debilitating things that people do. You get our phone and we scroll on it. How many times have you scrolled on your phone and you realize that, you know what, an hour has gone by and you haven't done jack? Type of 1 if that happens to you. I've done it as well. But the best part about it is I have a default. And so, beginning to operate at your optimum, I've said the word over and over again, it's something called neuroencoding. What is neuroencoding? That is programming yourself so that you default to your absolute optimum. Remember when I was holding the apple and the quarter and all that stuff? Because I did what you're getting ready to do, I default to what I want. Type of 1 if that's something you want for you. Because it gets to the core of the challenge. You see, you now know your toxic 10, but what is at the core of it? What makes that toxic 10 happen? What triggers you to make it happen? This is not a Band-Aid, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fundamental solution to the challenge that human beings have. It is the human condition. And I want you to understand this. It is a fundamental, like I said, fundamental condition of human beings. It is a solution. I want you to do this. I want you to imagine yourself. It's a few weeks from now, from this moment right now, a few weeks from now. And in that few weeks, you look back over those weeks and you go, holy crap, I've been doing what I said I wanted to do. And it feels good that you're doing it. Type of 1, if that feels good, even to think about that right now. Finally doing the things that you said you were going to do. Knocking on the door of the outcomes and the goals that you want. There's a part of you that's inside of you that feels certain. There's a part of you inside that just says, I cannot wait because this is a done deal. And by the way, you can tell I get a little excited about this. I get emotional about it because I know what's in store for you. If you can't see what I see, borrow my glasses, and here they are right now. And this comes down to a process, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what neuroencoding does. You get to program you to start to function at your absolute optimum. Type of 1 if that's something you want. And by the way, this is not another feel-good course or something like that. If that's what you want, that's not this. This is not something that you're going to do, and in 48 hours, you're going to lose it. This is something that you're programming yourself. And you find yourself, you're not making excuses anymore. How many of you are sick and tired of making excuses? How many of you are sick and tired of making excuses to yourself? How many of you are sick and tired of kind of recognizing that other people have given up on you as well? How many of you have told somebody you're going to do this and you didn't do it, but in the back of your mind, you know that you told them they're going to do it, and on some level, they're judging you? Well, what I'm about to share with you changes everything, ladies and gentlemen, everything. This is kind of what I've been working up to, and I wanted you to have this so that you have it going forward. And what I want you to know is this is going to be your new path to getting what you want. So take a deep breath, shake yourself out for a moment, okay? Because this is what your real future looks like. That imagination that you just did just a second ago of looking at yourself in the future, that's it. I've said this from the very beginning, you have the ability to not just make the future, but predict the future. And that's what the future looks like, is whatever you put in. That's the lemon in your life. That's the space between the telephone poles. You get to see it. But not just once, over and over and over again until it becomes who you are. Picture yourself again now 90 days from now, and you look back on 90 days and you go to yourself, there was a moment that I changed. And you're getting ready to have one now, but then continuous over and over again. A moment that you transformed it, that by design you transform it. The day that you look back and you go, and by design means you intentionally did it. Not learning something else, not, understanding something else, but becoming more. And that's where the power is. And I'm telling you right now. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to type in the chat 6 days. 6 days. Type it. Take that step right now and say 6 days. And what that means is 1 week from now, 6 days, there is going to be a shift in you. And I'm going to help you do it. I'm not going to do it for you because this is your medal that you get to pick up. 6 days. So all of you said you would love to have me as your coach. Well, here's how. A 6-day training that I'm going to put you through for 6 days. And by the way, it's only about 15 or 20 minutes a day. Type of 1, if you could definitely use or find 15 minutes a day to do this. And what's happening here is this is not something that you're going to be grinding out. This is something that you're going to be doing and having a good time while you're doing. And it's called transformation by design. You're going to have consistent motivation, if you will, and drive. You're going to have clarity and focus and energy. You get to live the life that you've dreamt about. And you get to dream and make it happen. Now, every day, I'm going to send you a video, a training that, like I said, maybe 15 minutes that is going to happen. Every single day, I'm going to send you a video. And you got to do it for 6 days. And why am I making it for 6 days? Because it's about that amount of time that you start to build something inside of you. It's going to be fun. It's going to be easy that you do it. Now, here's what I want you to know. And by the way, we're also adding a 7th day, a training day. A 7th bonus day, if you will, because on that bonus day, remember, I want to make sure that you keep on going. We say stay close to the fire. And what that means is if you stay close to the fire, then you get warm and you get to have the heat and the energy. And here's where the fire is. Type of 1, if you've had a good time right now, you've been close to this fire what we've been with right now. Every 6 days, every day I'm going to send you that. Now, our public price, now by the way, what would this be worth to you? Yeah, somebody said priceless. Of course it would be. $5,000, $10,000? Of course it would be. But I know, here's the deal. I want to make it, as I said before, easy for you. So public price is this, $250. That's it. $250. That's it. And I want to make sure, and by the way, like I said, you're going to have 60 days access to it because people ask, how long is this going to last? It's not going to last forever. It's going to give you 60 days to do this, but you're only going to need 6, and you get to do it over and over again and share with your friend. And you get to start when it's best for you. I suggest you start right away. And you get to review it and repeat it. And I believe in what we call rewarding fast action. And so what that means is, as you do this now, not tomorrow, as you do this now, I'm going to knock $100 off of that. And what that means is $147. This is a no-brainer. And it's only for a short time only for you guys. It's only for you here. After this, it's going to go to $250. And even at that, that's a ridiculous bargain. But here's what happens. Most people, when they get to something like this, they go, I'll do it tomorrow, or I want to do this, or whatever. That's your toxic 10 showing up. Type of 1 if you understand that. And just so you know, and this is how I get to continue to work with you. We have been together for 2 hours a day, for 2 hours, or for 2 days now. And in that amount of time, I hope I've served you in this way, and my colleagues have served you in this way. But the truth of the matter is, most people don't have the 2 hours. I'm wondering how you found 2 hours in the middle of the work week to do this. But you get to tailor it for yourself. So here's what's going to happen. Is Brennan is going to put a QR code on there, and I'm going to give you only about 3 to 4 minutes to do this. And the reason being I want you to do this is when you do it right now. Start right now, because there's other bonuses that are coming. Start right now. And when you do it, I want you to put in the chat, I'm in. I did it. I'm in. Do the QR code and make it happen. Do it right now. And what is going to happen is when you do that, lock it in right now. That's that. Somebody already said, I'm in. Perfect. Now, as I said to you before, I'm not telling you to spend $10, $15, $20, even $1,000. But here's what I found before. People who invest in themselves, people who make it happen, you set the stakes in the ground and you start to march forward. We put it here on this day to make it here happen for you right now. I didn't want something that was going to, blow you out of the water. I want something that I get to be with you. Perfect. So I'm going to shut up for just a couple minutes. We'll play some music, and then what is going to happen is when I come back, I have something else that we're going to do, and then we're going to go to VIPs as well. But we got some homework to do for tonight as well, because this is not over. This is only they're 2/3 of the way over. Perfect. Lily says, I'm in. I'm ready to start. Hey, Michael Pope, good to see you. Okay. Yes, it's 15 minutes each day. Perfect. I'm in. I'm so excited for you guys. So excited. I know I said I'd shut up, but I'm excited. I'm so excited for you. Why? Because I get to be in your world. Yes. It says $250. No, if you do it now, it's going to discount to $147. I'm in. Perfect. You guys are going, why did they make this so cheap? Well, here's the reason why. It's so that you'll do it. I want you to stay close to the fire. As silly as this sounds right now, ladies and gentlemen, you're part of my family. Welcome home. How do I order without that thing using the phone? I can't.
Megan has posted a link in the chat.
Yes, Megan has posted a link in the chat where you can go there. You can do this without using your phone. There it is right now. Okay, just hit that link in the chat and it'll take you there. Yes, it is USD. Perfect, absolutely perfect. I'm in. I'm seeing so many of you. I'm so excited for it. 2 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Oh yes, you're gonna, to get that discount, use the coupon code that says My Moment. Yes. My Moment. And by the way, I filmed this for this group. This is where we put it together. You guys are the first people who are getting this. I'm in. Perfect. Minute and a half, ladies and gentlemen.
Challengers, make sure you use that code MyMoment, one word, MyMoment, and you'll see your $101 get chopped off that price. This is not going to last. This is an offer Joseph put together specifically for challengers playing full out here. Make sure you use code MyMoment to secure transformation by design for yourself. You get to start immediately. And remember, you have 60 days access as a bonus to the full program when you secure your spot.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Thank you for reminding me that, by the way, guys. You get to start right away, and I encourage you to. Everybody, you typed ones when you said, yes, I could do 15 minutes a day. And by the way, it's going to be so unbelievably simple, and you'll start to notice the changes as we go. Well done. One more minute, ladies and gentlemen. So just keep with it, and we're going to make sure that it gets taken care of. We'll let this go a little bit further after we finish here to make sure that we serve everybody. Okay. I understand that there's a error message showing up. Is that it? Yeah. So I don't know if you could hear. What's happening here is that some people are resolving it by refreshing your screen. And we apologize for the technical difficulties. I don't know what it is. All right, one more minute. We're working on getting that cleared up for you. You guys busted the internet. Yeah, and rightfully so. And don't worry, we're going to take care of you. We're going to serve you through this whole process. All right, we're almost there. All right, perfect. Are they able to get through now? Okay, great. All right, so you're going to keep on going, and I'm going to give you your homework here now, and then we're going to go to VIP, and in the meantime, you can keep on going. Yeah, people are starting to say that I'm in now, so fantastic. You can keep on going. We're going to make it happen. And so I'm going to give you your homework, and Brandon put that screen up here. Here's what's going to happen. So your assignment they're going to have, first off, equip yourself with Transformation by Design. Start your 6-day program right now. Claim it right now. Go for it and do it. We're going to hold that price, until everybody gets it. And I'm so excited for you to happen. So here's what your homework is. I want you to write down. Remember, what we write is what we invite. This is what you show up with here tomorrow. Think of how valuable it was that you did your homework last night, and 90%, more than 99% of the people on the planet of what slows you down and what stops you. So I want you to write down your reasons why you want what you want. Go back and go through your list of what you want and write why you want this. I can't tell you. This is something that you have to create, and I want you to dig deep and find it. You've already started on this path, so let's keep on going. Why you want what you want. If it's more money, why do you want more money? So you can buy a new car, so that you can, build a financial wall around your family, so that you can, have security, whatever it is, your reason why. Why do you want to lose weight? So that you can have, be able to play with your children and climb a flight of stairs without, being out of breath, so that you can have energy. Why do you want to, be happy? So that you can, live your life at its absolute fullest. Whatever it is, I want you to write down a list of why you want each of them. Take the time to do it. And I want you to get as thorough and as detailed as you possibly can in doing this. I'm going to show you tomorrow how this is going to pull you into the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. As promised, you can throw me back up. Put me back on the screen. I want to look at them as we go. So first off, we're going to, that's your homework, and that is the end of today's session. If you have been having challenges getting locked into My Moment, just keep going after it. We're going to remedy that as we go along. I'm so excited. Congratulations for those of you that are going to be joining us. You're absolutely going to freaking love this. And, by the way, I didn't say this. You get to own this stuff now. And what that means is you get to teach it to other people. Because people around you are going, what's happening with you? And you get to tell them. And I always say to people, learn something as though you're going to teach it and then teach it. That's why I get to do what I do. And so you're going to help me doing my dream as well. So here's what I'm going to say. Do your homework, and I want you to remember this. That life is always, always exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune favors the bold. And I put it out to you now. I dare you to design the transformation in your life. I dare you to make your life magnificent. I love you. I will see you same time tomorrow, same place. As we said earlier, I'm out. Is Brandon talking to them?
I'm about to.
Okay, so I'm back. I forgot to tell you guys. VIPs will be right back with you here in just a moment. If you still want to be VIP, you can still do that as well. So I'll be right back with you in just a moment.
All right, challengers, what a spectacular day number 2. First of all, congratulations to everybody who has said yes, who broke through the challenges when you tried to say yes to Transformation by Design and made it happen anyway. And fear not, or I should say fear less, because in your recap email, of course, we're going to have the link and site for you to complete your Transformation by Design enrollment. And when we get ready to come back, this is what you need for your day 3 to keep your momentum. Again, same time, same place. Practice these mechanics that we went through. Think about think, feel, do, have. It's simple for a reason, okay? And complete your homework, your reasons why. Go back through, like Joseph said, your homework from day number 1 of all the things you want, that vision you're creating for yourself, and list the reasons why that are going to be the fuel power behind them all. Make sure you're engaging with everybody here together in the Facebook group. Use that hashtag #MyMoment. And yes, you can still get into VIP right now to join us for the VIP session with Joseph. Jonathan is going to be there as well. You get to ask your questions. Anybody who was in VIP last night will tell you how impactful it is to get that extra time with Joseph while you have him. So I'm going to throw up that QR code. So you can join us in VIP right now if you wish. And it's going to be a perfect time for you to do so right now. And for everybody else, get some rest and be ready to fire back in for day number 3. It's been a pleasure hosting you for the My Moment Challenge, and we are not done yet. In fact, far from it, as Joseph returns tomorrow to the main stage. See you then, everybody.